Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Public comment is open still.
Good evening. I'm Constance Constable and I'm a resident of Seaside and I'm an avid pickleball player. And we've been enjoying Wheeler at least 3 days a week from 9 to 12. We have a regular time where people can meet and come play. And it's a wonderful group of folks that come out and play. And we're very grateful that we have access to Wheeler. However, this wonderful facility, the courts have been eroding over time. They haven't been maintained properly. And well, I speak for the tennis players as well, because I know that while we were given the shabbier of the 4 courts, they're all breaking down. They need some serious maintenance. And I needed to learn more about city government because I didn't know that Seaside had a neighborhood improvement commission. But I understand that, you know, on a yearly basis, you consider ideas for new projects. And I do hope that you would consider Wheeler for the tennis players and the pickleball players. Just it's a safety issue. It's a shame this beautiful set of tennis courts is not being maintained. So the longer it's postponed, the more expensive it's going to get. I know so much about it. I'm just assuming that if we jumped in and, you know, started to improve it now, it would save us a lot of money down the road. So I'm going to be paying more attention to the meetings and your agendas. And when it's time for serious consideration, I'll be back. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Constable, for your comments. And we do have a open seat on the, we have one open seat. So if you're interested, look into it.
Tuesday nights work for me.
Public comment is still open.
Hello, my name is Michael Lang. I am the president of the Monterey Bay Pickleball Association. I know Constance fairly well. So I am here also to advocate for improvements at Wheeler. They're in quite a bit of state of disrepair. I personally don't play there because I don't really think it's safe. I would really enjoy playing there because it really is a lovely setting. It's a nice little park. It's got some elbow room, unlike many of the other parks that we have in the peninsula. I also wanted to mention that if you are considering other locations within Seaside for potentially adding pickleball, our club would be more than happy to provide some input or some suggestions on what makes a good location, what makes it maybe not such a good location. Common issues are noise. If you get too close to the houses, then neighbors tend to get upset. We've seen that problem both in Pacific Grove and Monterey. And parking. You know, we tend to have small little community parks nestled within our neighborhoods all over the peninsula, as opposed to where I grew up back in the Midwest. We had these big sprawling parks with 6 soccer fields and 8, you know, softball fields. So it's a little bit different. And so our parking can be a little bit more of a challenge. But those are the 2 big issues that we typically see with locating pickleball courts. The good thing about pickleball is the courts are very small. You can get 4 pickleball courts in the space of 1 tennis court. And typically we play doubles, so you can get essentially 8 people playing on a couple courts. So 4 people on each court. If you got 4 courts, you got 16 people playing on essentially 1 tennis court. So that contributes to the noise, but it also allows us to have a lot of enjoyable recreational activity in a fairly small amount of space. That's part of the appeal of pickleball. It's also a very easy sport to learn. I don't know if any of you have ever played it, but it has the advantage of a very quick ramp up, easy to learn, hard to master kind of sport. But usually within just a few times, people can become fairly competent. I got 30 seconds left. I'll make one other comment about money. So we're starting to look into different ways of doing fundraising to support different types of projects around the peninsula. We think that there's a good possibility of using advertising and monuments like donor walls, naming of courts, naming of facilities, to local corporations or individuals as a way to raise money. We've seen this happen at Chamisol. BMW of Monterey has banners hanging out there, and that supports quite a bit of the events that they do pickleball related out there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Public comment is still open. Would anybody else like to speak on public comments?
Have some online.
Ruthie Watts.
We've got one yet. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Barbara Lang, and I'm actually also an avid pickleball player. And the only thing I wanted to add, I didn't want to repeat anything that they both said, is that if, you're looking for next year, the other thing that would be really helpful would be to have some kind of a bathroom, some kind of restroom at Wheeler, with a porta potty or something, which is probably what it'd be. I don't think you would construct something, but with all those people playing pickleball, it'd be really good if they had somewhere to go to the bathroom. That would be just a good thing to do, especially for the tennis players too. It's just a smart thing to do in a recreational setting. So besides making it safer with a better surface, it'd be good to have restrooms. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure, let's see if anything's, great, let's see if anybody else is. I believe we do have one person virtual on Zoom. Four of them, okay. Let's go ahead with the first person.
Ruthie Watts. Ruthie Watts. Ruthie Watts.
You hear me?
We can hear you, Ms. Watts.
Okay. Did
The
you hear
floor
what
is yours.
I just said that I asked that you support the community outreach program. It's a program that support youth and senior citizens and to help those that are in need, and especially with food and stuff like that. So we hope that you will support this program. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Watts.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay.
Camille Young.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Camille Young. I am the facilitator for the World Outreach Youth Financial Literacy and Mentoring Program. And as described in our presentation that we submitted, Money Magnet 101 will play a significant role in expanding the minds of our future young leaders with the skill to navigate their own financial landscape toward abundance. And undoubtedly, hands down, we know that we will have a community impact with this program. I believe our ask was $61,000, and that would absolutely help us further our mission, but we would be honored with whatever assistance you deem appropriate. I'd like to have the project manager, Mr. Colbert, to speak on behalf of this program as well. Oh, I probably have to use all of my time, and I'm willing to defer it to Mr. Colbert.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Colbert, you have the floor.
Denise Maiden. Richard Colbert.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, sir.
We can hear you.
My name is Richard Colbert. I'm also part of the Money Magnet one-on-one program. And what we realize is that this is like Ms. Young said, can be of great impact to the community, especially with the youth. Our research, over 75% of the youth in America right now do not have substantial financial literacy practices in place, but meaning they have no knowledge of bank accounts, such as checking and saving, credit, or anything like that. What our program would do is help introduce those programs, those practices to these youth that are developing, learning about money skills, and becoming more practical with the practices of credit as well as financial stability as they go off to college or into their careers.
Sir, you still have about a minute and a half if you'd like to use it.
All right. And so, your support or city support would be greatly appreciative in us moving this agenda, this program into a much higher position where we can start implementing this to local after school programs, as well as possibly summer programs to help youth understand about money, understand about their financial practices in banking, just how money work, investments, and this would be a great tool for them to carry on with them.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, sir. Okay, public comment is still open. We have two more people.
Denise Maiden,
Hello? Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Good. Good evening. My name is Denise Maiden, and I am a old resident of Seaside, and I'm back now, trying to get my feet and things established, because I'm back here to be in this community. I heard about this youth financial program, and I just want to express my support for a program like that for our children. We teach them English, we teach them math, but we don't teach them how to manage money. And we need to start them at a young age so that by the time they get to high school and go on to college, they'll at least be aware of the fact that they can manage their money, and they'll learn how to make their money work for them. It will also help because we don't know if we have some genius investors out there, but because they haven't been taught about finances, they just don't know how to go about using their money in order to establish a foundation for them and their family and their future family, leaving their family legacies. So I just I saw the brochure, and I heard about the financial program that they are starting at the Dual Language Institute at the Highland Elementary School. And I just wanted to get on tonight and express my support for this type of program for our children. I also had talked to Mrs. Regina Mason, who runs the Village Project, about starting a program like this at her facility. So I just wanted to express my interest in that, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Maiden.
Thank you for your comment. Diane Nielsen?
Thank you. Good evening, Neighborhood Improvement Commissioners. I'm Diane Nielsen, citizen and Parks and Rec Commissioner. And I just wanted to, one, thank the pickleball community for their enthusiasm and for their dedication, for their help in keeping pickleball going at Wheeler tennis courts, and what they've done to improve the courts. It's been shown many times that the pickleball community adults are very dedicated to their sports and sport, and it's a very enthusiastic game and community of people. It has a lot to do with connecting. In our city, there is not a lot of adult activities other than Oldemeyer Center for people to do, especially in the parks. And I think it's really important and critical to have this community. Kind of falls in line with Blue Zones in the fact that not only is it an active sport, but it creates community, which creates better health. We have the tennis courts available. They have pickleball stripes on them now, thanks to the pickleball people, and improving the surface there and putting in a few more pickleball courts instead of having 4 tennis courts would be a big improvement. And a lot more people could use the facilities over there. And I do recommend putting in some sort of porta potties, someplace where people can use the restroom. I know that's really critical for any park that you're going to spend some time in. And also possibly a backboard. And a backboard could act as a sound barrier too if there was any issues, but I honestly don't think there are any issues over there with sound. I know there's issues with parking, but with some out of the box thinking, I think we can handle that. Thank you for considering this, one of these recommendations for NIC support. And I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, Ms. Nielsen. Do we have anybody else?
Thank you for your comments.
Do we have anybody else from Zoom?
Chair, there's no more comments.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for their comments. Mr. Colbert and the supporters of the World Outreach Program. If you're still here listening, I just want to let you know that it's possible that we're going to have a extra special meeting to hear more presentations. It sounds like there was some misunderstanding between possible presenters and members of the commission, just how this was to be conducted. So I think we might have a vote tonight for a special meeting to hear other presentations. So if you're still on the line, if you could give a call to the City Hall tomorrow to find out what that date will be, because we don't know right now. We're going to talk about it a little bit later on. Dominique, who would they call, you or call? Okay, you can call our city clerk. We should know more about that. So it should be very soon, because we want to try to have this done by the end of the month, so we can make a presentation to the city council. So if you can call, within this week, so we know when our special meeting would be for that. But thank all of you for your comments and support. I want to mention one thing on the young lady who had brought up the idea of an evacuation plan or an emergency plan. Right now, I can't stress how important that is. I just a few days ago returned from Lahaina as a volunteer with the Red Cross, and it was shocking to see what just one small hill fire could do. It could devastate a town, and to actually be there, it was even more shocking than seen on the news. But I hate to put anybody on the spot, but I know that we have our new assistant city manager. Did you want to speak to, he's brand new, so I hate to put anybody on the spot. Did you want to speak to that issue at all? Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. All I can say is I can look into it because I really don't know if the city has an evacuation plan, but I will confer with the city manager and we'll send something out.
Great, thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Can I make a comment on that?
Absolutely, go ahead.
You know, in Texas, where I lived for 18 years, they have an evacuation plan for hurricanes. And it's as simple as just changing the road, painting the roads for evacuation so that all roads lead out. And we could even, I mean, I know that could run into, you know, maybe even millions or million, but we could do something as simple as that, just signs saying which way to go and the roads painted for an event, you know, whatever it may be, a tsunami or fire or an earthquake.
Right, and that was an issue in Lahaina, roads being blocked. Yeah, thank you for that comment. Okay, seeing no more comments and under public comments, let's move on. Thank you for all of your comments. Let's close that and go to item number 5, business items. And let's start with 5A, presentation by the Arts and History Commission about the utility box program and mural program funding request.
Hi, how are you? I'm Emerson Brown. I'm going to speak to you tonight about a presentation that you probably will have deja vu about. I spoke a couple of months ago, and I'm happy that you invited me back to be considered for your final decision making. So I am on the Art and History Commission, and we've identified a couple of areas where we'd like to visibly improve the city in a couple of manners, with decorating utility boxes and also painting a mural or two within the next fiscal year. So thank you. Oh, excellent. The big button will forward it. Yep. And then how do I go back? Like that? Great. Okay. So first things first, utility box program. Basically, we just want to do a simple initiative to wrap utility boxes using a sign company like Monterey Sign Works or another local company to decorate boxes to, one, prevent graffiti, to two, just, you know, better the roadside and create something visual pleasing for people. And then, you know, we could also communicate some community message if we wanted. And then 3, you know, just general beautification. So that's the program. As I've spoken to you before, all the black dots that you see in this slide are city-owned utility boxes. So we don't have to speak to private utility companies to decorate these boxes. These are all the opportunities we have. So just to orient you on this, up top, there's 3 dots. That's around CSUMB. If you come down sort of on the right side, those 3 dots, that's General, I think that's General Jim Moore. Yes. And then on the left, that concentration, if you move back down to the left, that's Fremont. So we were thinking Fremont might be the most fun place to do because it has the highest concentration and probably the most traffic. Okay, so this is just to give you an idea of what Fremont looks like right now. This is a little out of date. I'm actually pleased to say that the utility box here on the right, I believe that's the one that's in front of the Reef Dispensary. But now, because I live in the neighborhood, I can tell you that it's been cleaned off. So I don't know if y'all had anything to do with that, but it looks much better now. But we'd still like to, you know, do something even nicer with it if we could. All right, so just to talk about the idea for the program and generally. So the eligibility is basically, we would do an RFP process. And so the eligible applicants would be 15 years or older, residents of Seaside, are attending class in Seaside. You know, if there's a really talented artist who, you know, goes to CSUMB or the community college, you know, why not? As long as they're part of the community, or why not let them, you know, participate? And then so we'd review, the Art and History Commission will review and finalize the applicants, and then they go before a larger review board. And we have I'll get to it in a little bit, but we sort of have a proof of concept for that, which is the Firehouse mural, which I'll talk about in a minute. And so basically, to make it worth their while, and, you know, we'll give them a small stipend, $500 for the artist, which include all their fees, design, insurance, and time spent. So basically, they enter a contract with the city with the council's approval, ultimately the council's approval. And then obviously the completion project has to go through Arts and History Commission, and then it will go for final review again in front of city council, similar to the Firehouse mural. And then so basically it has to be original artwork, and it's preferable if it celebrates Seaside in some way. Of course, it has to be aligned with the larger city values as defined by the council and the charter, city charter. And it can't, you know, have any copyright or any potentially polarizing or offensive images in it. So that's the broad sweeps. Am I pointing it wrong? It's not going. Do you mind hitting it? Thank you.
Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead. Shoot.
Is that $500 per artist or per box
Uh,
that you design?
So great question, but it would be, I would assume, it probably wouldn't end up this way, but I would assume that it's a $500 stipend per contract. So meaning if one artist got 2 jobs, they'd probably get $1,000, but it's based on their contracted agreement. I highly doubt, you know, that they decide to give one artist all the contracts, but you know, that's the way it is. It's honestly, it's kind of a small stipend anyway, but that would be my thinking. But again, this is just proposal. Everything's flexible. Yeah,
I have a question.
shoot.
So would you, maybe I missed it. Would you be setting the theme for this, or would the artists be free to come up with their own
Yeah.
concept for design?
So yeah, we're getting to that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But, oh, no. Actually, I don't know if I explicitly say it, but in the RFP process, which I'll define in more detail later, but using the fire mural as an example, essentially we'll define the parameters in the RFP process. So what we've done is we'd identify, just for example, we'll say, we're gonna do these, there's these many boxes, you know, here's where they are and the shape. You know, there'd be like the flat layout. So we'd solicit proposals for people for a defined period of time to offer a design as preferred by the request for proposal. So it could either be sort of open. It's all TBD at this point. That's the short answer, but it could either be something more open, like generally something to celebrate Seaside, you know, a beach scene, a city scene, or it could be really specific. It could be, as you've seen in other cities where they have sort of a animal mascot, you know, they had pandas in DC. So we could say, oh, do something with the seahorse, so I would say that we could arrive at a theme that would please everyone. But again, if you want to input into that, I don't see why my commission wouldn't want to hear it.
I like the seahorse theme
Yeah.
and the beach theme.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
But you said something that made me think. So you don't plan, see this as having these these wraps would only be on there for a certain amount of time and then they would be replaced after what, like say 10 years or 5 years or something? And then the process would start over again?
Yeah. So again, I would say it depends. One is, I think they would probably stay until they wore out, to your point. They probably want to define a broad time, 5, 10 years. Because they are wrapped, it makes it easier to repair them because it's a digital file we can just print out again if everybody's happy with the way they look. Instead of having to actually repaint the work. Or, it could be quicker than that if people got tired of looking at it. So again, it's pretty flexible. Not having the money yet, or defined budget, we haven't gotten into that amount of detail yet. So that is something that could be discussed that's the short answer.
So you don't
Yeah.
happen to know what the lifespan is on the vinyl wraps?
Oh, they last a long time. Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's similar to like what you see on the buses and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a similar type material. So, and it does, cost quite a bit of money, but, you'll see, not a lot, but probably more than you'd assume. Any other questions before I?
No, sorry for the interruption.
No, you're not interrupting. We're here to talk. So here's the cost. So to your point also, $500 a box, design wrap is $1,200. It is weather resistant material, that should last several years if we wanted it to. So the total base cost is $1,700. So just playing that out a little bit, if you want to do 3, it's a little over $5,000 for 3, or if you want to do 5, it's $8,500. And if you look, so there's like probably 8 or 9 dots along Fremont if you want to do the whole thing. But you don't have to. That's a pretty wide span. That's all the way from almost at the overpass all the way down to the end of Seaside, your Burger King and all that. So you could just do the middle section there, or we could just do the ones that are most visible from the street, because some of them are kind of tucked, So depending on the whatever budget we got, we could just do whatever's optimal for visibility while you're driving down Fremont.
And does the price come down if let's say Monterey Signs gets 6 boxes? Isn't discount at all?
No, so staff did not indicate. Staff helped us do this research, and we asked similar question, and I would say no. Well, maybe if we did it again, maybe we can negotiate, but I don't, not for this volume. Not for this volume, unfortunately. Yeah.
Sure, we can find somewhere in Marina.
Yeah. Maybe
I hate to
support.
see that
I know.
one.
I know. Well, to be blunt, the Art and History Commission will work with the budget we're given. So, we'll do the best and most that we can with the money that we have. So, I just want to give you an idea. Yeah. So the current status, there has been a change since our last conversation. We found, well, I shouldn't say staff found some money that was previously earmarked for another project that had to be spent this year. And so it's enough for a few teeny boxes, not on Fremont. We're gonna do a pilot program because there wasn't time to do an RFP process for this. They just had to earmark the money. And so they're gonna do the light pole boxes on General Jim Moore. So it's just a few, like, 5 or 6, and they're teeny. They won't be as big as what you would see on Fremont. Because Fremont has, kind of sometimes two right beside each other. So what they did was, they had their interns at the rec department just drop some simple designs. They're pretty nice, water theme, Sister City, Hawaka theme. So staff presented that to the Art and History Commission. We offered some feedback in terms of consistency and theme. And I hope in our meeting next week that we can give final approval and they can process them. So hopefully we'll have proof of concept, and also we'll have the opportunity to figure out if there's any bugs. If you do, give us an allotment of money. So that's good news. So we won't have to experiment with any money we get from y'all. And that would be the purpose of the pilot program. So, for us to do some testing, some lower stakes testing, but hopefully still get a
And was
nice
it-
product.
It was the 3 boxes on General Jim Moore?
A little, yeah, the light boxes are there's a little more there, I think, is
Oh.
what staff said. Yeah, there's 3 big utility boxes, but then these little light boxes, light pole boxes are smaller and more. So those weren't identified, I think, as the bigger utility boxes on that map. I think they're
Okay.
separate. Yeah. But I can get that information from Dan and Keon. That's the recreation staff that helped us, and I can, I can share it with you if you email. I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, we went to Monterey Sign and Signworks to answer. So we went to those 2 questions, not Marina yet. So that's the Lightbox program. And then the mural program is, we have some nice murals that eventually we'd like to restore, but we also want to do some nicer and bigger murals. For example, like we just redid the mural on the firehouse at Broadway and Yosemite. And so this is sort of the proof of concept. We did an RFP process using money I think y'all gave us. So, and it would work very similarly. We did an RFP with the parameters. We got input from the fire department. And we got a draft, several proposals. We had a winning draft as chosen by a committee made up of people from the fire department, people from art and history, and other city representatives. And then that went before the city council, and they actually had some changes. So they think they took out more of the military references and put in some more community references, like in the first draft. So on the far right, that blue figure on the right end, that's Martin Luther King Jr. He was not in the original draft, but he's part of the history of Seaside and the church this year in the fire station. So they incorporated him in the final product. So, and then, so just move along quickly. We've also identified city-owned sites where a mural could go. And these are just a couple, kind of like Older Myers, probably not quite as visible, but it has a big, nice wall. We just wanted something nice, and we wanted to make the building a little more colorful. Or you could pick something more visible, like a Cutino. They're doing a lot of improvements there now, maybe even some pickleball courts for, I've heard some rumors. And then on the backside, there's behind the sign, you see the backside of the skateboard ramp, that could be something that could be painted and have a nice visual. So it either stood out from the scenery or blended in nicely. Just depends on what we want to do. And so just to give you an idea of the timeline, so we started it in 2020, March 2023, and I think it was done around September. So it does take some time, but the project does happen within the fiscal year, so that's good. And then we chose a local artist. We'd hope we could choose all local artists as set out by the eligibility parameters earlier. And then this is just, like I told you, some of the final product. And then, so here are the project details. So cost around 25,000, probably a little more than that actually in the final with the touch-ups, probably more closer to 30. So yeah, October 22 to March 2023. So less than a year. And then, so we had 13 applicants. So we do get a robust pool, not too many, but enough to where we can hopefully have a nice selection to choose from. And then, as I told you, it was commissioners and city staff that worked together. So we got lots of feedback and input. It wasn't dictated by just one or two people. So yeah, so that's a little low, I'd say, for one mural, but it could be done for smaller mural, something smaller than the firehouse mural. Again, that was closer to 25,000. And then, so yeah, the factors to consider with this price point: size and scope, committee oversight, staff time, city management approval. Those are things that could affect the timeline, getting it done in one fiscal year, but it should be possible as proven by the mural. And those are two distinct things. They would both follow similar trajectories and similar processes. We just have two end results. If that makes sense, we just do two separate RFP process. You want to paint a mural, fill out this form. You want to decorate a utility box, fill out this form. So we could have both going at the same time if we wanted to. And I think that's it. Let's see. Oh yeah, of course. So this will be a nice amount to have. We realize you have a lot of people asking you for money for really good projects. My mom probably wishes I had taken a money management course when I was a kid. So that's an excellent thing to support. But here is sort of a roundabout idea of what we want to do. And that obviously that's more than one mural. So we could do one mural for less than that. That's just if you want to do a couple of murals in a fiscal year. Any more questions?
Are there any questions from the dais?
I have a question.
Shoot.
Maybe I missed it, but is the concept for the mural that at the artist's discretion?
No.
So do you give them a theme?
Yeah. So using the firehouse as an example. So we consider the site, who the mural's for, whether it's for somebody specific to the site or just, to celebrate the city generally, like if it's just a city property. Is there anything specific to that building, or, do we just want to do, a big seahorse in the city crest? it just really depends. So the short answer is no, it's not up to the artist's discretion. It's up to the artist. The artist has flexibility within the theme defined by the RFP, the request for a proposal. And so what we would do is, once we had a real budget, we could work with I think it's the city manager who identified the sites for staff that they've shared with us. And then based on that, and if there were any other recommendations from other committees, like, oh, there's this great space that everybody goes by, but it's pretty blighted right now. It'd be great if we could just make it colorful and nice. Maybe we'd do a request for public comment from our meeting, say, hey, we're going to paint a mural. We're thinking about these sites, give us some feedback. I'm sure our commission could do that. But like I said, once we narrowed it down, then we set some general parameters for what we wanted to see on the wall and our utility boxes. and then pick the finalists from the RFPs. You know, we had 13 applicants and some of them were easy to weed out. And, you know, we had some really good selections too. The final decision, I understand, was pretty hard. I wasn't on the final selection committee, even though I'm a commissioner. So it's, like I said, we really make it equitable, and something that celebrates the city. And like you said, it's not just, specific to one person's taste. Yeah. But we do, you know, you do want a nice piece of art. So you don't want to, over dictate, you know,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
whole idea
Yeah,
is to improve the
yeah.
cityscape.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm happy taking other questions or
Any other questions from the commission? Okay. I've got one question.
shoot.
The total price here is based on, you said you're working with staff to get this, is based on, I'm assuming, an average of different quotes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And it's all, yeah. So like I said, I asked staff before I came back if they had gotten any numbers and they said no, but it's that what could affect this is, you know, inflation. So, but we honestly, we worry about that once we have the budget. But yeah, so staff actually called the places and got those prices. They are a few months old. They were new when I came here before, so I don't know. They probably haven't changed much if they changed, but they may have changed. And then the mural cost is based on the firehouse mural we did just last year. So hopefully that wouldn't be too different. Again, you can pick artwork. You know, if you pick something really busy with a lot of detail, you know, you're gonna, your costs are a lot of color, that's gonna affect your cost, you know. But so if we, you know, based on the amount of money we get, we pick a appropriate site, you know, that for the amount of money that we have, you know, we'd pick a wall, a good wall size for that, so that we wouldn't limit what we could get on it. Does that make sense? Does that help? Did I answer your question? I want to make sure I answered it.
No, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
My concern is just that
Yeah.
the commission, the Arts and History Commission
Yeah.
is aware that, I mean, unless things have changed, this is it's a public entity with using public funds, so it has to go out to bidding. The
Yes.
Right, okay, good. And
Yeah,
that's-
so
right.
we asked about that. We asked about that, to your point, for the pilot project, and we said, oh, we don't, you know, we don't want to get staff in trouble. Is that, you know, can we do that? Can we just use that money like that? And they were like, yeah, it's fine in this instance, but for this case, we want to do an RFP and bid it out.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Really, really important.
And that is on the form that we used before. It wasn't in the, but we would base, you know, our RFP process on the previous one, the established one. And it did say, you know, please estimate your cost. No matter their costs, they're only getting the same stipend, to your opinion. But we do, for the budget that we have, we do want to estimate a cost to make sure that we can get a product that fits within that budget.
Right, and I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
that the city, if this gets to the city council, they'll remind you of all. that.
Oh, yeah,
So-
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Any other?
Yeah.
Just one last quick, the price is $8,500 for 5 boxes.
Yes.
And would you consider doing just all the boxes on Fremont
So that,
and not do the mural? If you received enough funds to do all the boxes on Fremont?
yeah, so everything's flexible.
Okay,
So if we got, you know, $10,000, you know, we'd say, oh, what's the best use of that money? It's probably just decorating utility boxes on Fremont, you know, and because we want to save some money, to your point, you know, we want to make sure we didn't overspend, there's changes, you know, which, so we'd probably just do that. But as I said, this is just to give you an example of what could be possible. We're not tied to doing like 2 things, you know, we just wanted to show you how much it would cost to do one mural, two murals, or a bunch of utility boxes. So that's the goal. And we probably just, to your point, we just spend the money in the optimal way. So whether that's, again, just the utility boxes or just a mural or, both, that's how we make that decision.
And if you were to get the,
Mhm.
if you were to get the funding and you decided to use that toward utility boxes,
Mhm.
then would you consider trying to ask for money to do other utility boxes subsequent years? Would you continue with that?
Yeah, with that initiative.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure. So I've been on the Art and History Commission for probably more than 5 years now, and I'm just now getting some traction. What I did before was the city didn't really have guidelines for public art and the process for pushing it through and getting it in front of council. So that's the first thing I did is wrote those and presented to the council, and the council decided to adopt those for the city. And so now, with a little delay from the first COVID surge, the pandemic, we're just now getting to a spot where we can actually do a lot at once, I think. And so, yeah, so I would like to keep the momentum up. We did one mural in the firehouse. Hopefully we'll do, if we just do utility boxes on Fremont, why stop there? We could just keep going. And then, maybe by the time we did them all, we need to start rewrapping the first ones. You just never know. But I see this as an ongoing effort to just continue to improve the cityscape.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Are
Thank
there
you.
any other questions from the dais? No?
All right.
Any-
Thank you for your time
Okay,
and
well, let's see
consideration.
if there's some questions from the.
Oh, sure.
This is a business item. Are there any
Yeah.
questions from the public? Yes, ma'am. You can come on forward.
Linda Cunningham, private citizen, not member of the Seaside Homelessness Committee. I'm just hoping, one, I think I love it. The utility boxes, Salinas, Monterey, Eureka, Arcata, where my sister lives. Let's have some pretty utility boxes. It's a great opportunity to get that art out there. And I'm really, really hoping that the weird green round thing at the corner of Ord Grove and Military, just north of the bus stop, that's really not a trash can, but is used a lot as a trash can until it busts open and trash blows everywhere. I don't know what that round thing is. I hope it's on your list and it gets wrapped so people can't shove trash in it anymore. Thank you very much. I will return my time.
What is it? Ord Grove?
Okay, thank you.
Military, just right across from the VFW,
Yeah.
just north of the bus stop.
So I would say, let's hope the city owns it. That's what I would say. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
I'd just like to say I like what I heard, and I just had one question, and it was with your budget where you showed the design that was going to be X amount of dollars. If you choose one designer, you're going to have to pay that 1,200 every time in your amount, because it seems like, I'm just saying, if you are going to buy a design, once you buy it, the first box will probably be that 1,700, but after that, it should decrease a little bit because you've already paid for the design once. That's just my question on that. And then I like this little seahorse that we have right here on our dais. Mike could go throughout the city with the design. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comment.
Yeah. So I would say, just to answer her question, I would think, my assumption is, again, not having done it, but my assumption is we might save on some setup costs. Yes, I think that the cost would be the actual output. And to your other point, yes, we paid for the design. So the cost would just be for the printing of the material and the application. So, but we don't have a specific price on that yet, whether it be 1,200 or like 1,000, who
I
knows?
did have a
Yeah.
question that made me think, if we just did use the city seahorse,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be paying an artist because we own it, right?
True. Yeah.
True. Maybe they could do a variation. of
Well,
it.
yes. So if the people wanted seahorses, I would say a fun thing to do would be to let people interpret the city seal. And then it would go in front of a panel of citizens to represent the city, to make sure whatever we did pick from that was appropriate and, you know, fit city values. Yeah, but yeah. Like to your point, yeah, we want to support local artists. Yeah. All right, anything else?
Are there any questions from the virtual public? No? Okay,
Thanks for your
Well,
time
thank
and
you very much.
consideration. I really appreciate it.
right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just wanted to really quickly back up and,
But during public comment, we heard there was some support for the funds, for items, or the funds that we are stewards over. And the reason I let that go on was because those comments weren't particular to the items A and B that are on here. So it wasn't, you know, it wasn't really necessarily for the items that we were looking at here. So I let it go on and I take full responsibility for it. If I hear it from the city attorney, then so be it. I'll get my finger smacked. All right, so but that's the reason why. Thank you. Okay, let's go to item 5B. And that will be the presentation by the Homeless Commission providing hygiene services to the unhoused funds request.
Thank you. And this is our PowerPoint. So who's good at using the clicker? Are you guys ready? All right. Good evening, Chair, members of the Neighborhood Improvement Commission, and members of the Seaside community. Thank you for your time this evening. My name is Ben Strickland, and I serve as the Chair of the Seaside Homeless Commission.
I'm Leslie Mugen. I serve as the Vice Chair of the Seaside Homeless Commission.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Commissioner Nash.
We're here today with our commission to present you an idea which would be for funding ideas. But before I do, however, I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about who we are and a bit of our history. Next slide. Established in 2017, the Seaside Homeless Commission has the mission to plan, advocate, support, and collaborate with those who are at both homeless and with agencies that serve those who are at risk of being homeless. Next slide. Last year, the Homeless Commission distributed $17,000 and supported a total of 10 community organizations in their quests to offer additional services during the holidays and to continue their food insecurities program. In addition, we spearheaded a donation drive to Casa de Noche Buena. So a list of, I'm just going to read them off. Bethel Missionary Baptist Church, Casa de Noche Buena, Gathering for Women, Salvation Army, The Village Project Incorporated, Community Partnership for Youth, Veterans Transition Center, Greater Victory Temple Church of God in Christ, Allen Friends Sunday Breakfast, and Outreach Unlimited iHelp. Next slide. The challenge is that being clean and having clean clothes is a basic human dignity. Those struggles with being homeless or who are at risk of being homeless don't often have access to showers and clean laundry. This year, we would like to provide the opportunity for those who are housing challenged to increase their dignity, their preparedness to look for a job or engage in services, and ultimately increase hope. Next slide. The solution that we propose is the provision of a mobile shower and laundry services. It would provide the following: accessible and convenient hygiene facility that's mobile, promotes better health and restores dignity, provides a healthier environment in our local communities, and provides case management services that will be attached to this unit to connect them with community programs. Next slide. Okay, so this is our solution overview. Our proposed solution is to provide, did I already read that? Okay. No? Okay. Our proposed solution is to provide a mobile shower and laundry service. Okay, this is where I'm at. Okay, solution overview. Here we go. So I do want to state that when homeless individuals are clean and well-groomed, they are comfortable seeking and holding employment, making and keeping medical appointments, and in general have a higher sense of personal pride, and that can make all the difference. Cleanliness and well-being and well-groomed helps to remove obstacles and judgments. So to implement the solution, we would engage in a partnership with a mobile unit hygiene service provider known as Haven of Hope on Wheels. Haven of Hope on Wheels is a program operated in Oroville Southside Community Improvement Association, a 501c3 nonprofit agency based out of Oroville, California. They are currently operating in Berry Creek, Oroville, and Redding, California. And I'd like to play the first 3.5 minutes of the video to give you a sense of how it all works. So are we able to click on the second one?
Almost overnight. Did you know that here
Life is a bed of roses. Now hopefully I smell like one too.
What happens Haven of Hope with showers and cleaning clothes and everything, I'd be lost.
After my shower, I feel much better about myself.
I feel amazing. The shower was nice and warm and gives you more energy. You feel more confident about yourself.
We're excited to have an opportunity to offer the Haven of Hope Hygiene trailer to those less fortunate or those that might be displaced or be unhoused and unsheltered, not in a position to take a shower or wash a load of clothes. I don't believe that individuals should have to call 911 and have the first responders come and pick them up and take them to the hospital just so they can get a shower and a hot meal. Okay, we're at the Hope Center offering services for our Haven of Hope on Wheels hygiene trailer. And our normal protocol and procedure is when we show up at the facility, we normally have our staff come out, they set up. As you can see, they just simply, this is the washer and dryer room. This is where we offer our laundry services. They take that, they actually bring down the stairs, you know, and we come in, we make sure that everything is clean and it's available and all the apparatus are in place and the water is working. It's hot water and cold water. Windows and mirrors are clean, the pedestal sink. We have a toilet available. In the shower, we make sure that there's soap and shampoo for every client in the shower. And after each use, we come in with our staff and we clean it from top to bottom. So we never shower back to back without a thorough clean for obvious reasons. And we also have an intake process. A table would be set up outside, and each client that we offer services to, they will give us their pertinent information, and we ask them if they want to do laundry while they're showering. Many do.
I think that it's a good idea. I think it's a good cause to help people in need.
It's something that's really, really needed in Butte County.
and especially in Oroville.
It provides people with some basic necessities that many of us take for granted.
So we started our project in July of this year, 2019, and we launched at Open Door Church, which is a local church here in Oroville. And so far, we've served over 100 individuals. So we're really excited about that. We do serve 2 days per week, but our goal eventually is to have a second, third, and more than that as far as the units, because we do understand there's a great need, not just here within the city of Oroville, but within other cities and regions within our area.
We're just hoping and praying that other individuals.
In addition, we believe this solution will offer us a chance to collaborate closely with other cities in the county, and that we're also looking to find ways to increase dignity, preparedness, and hope within the homeless community. As a pilot program, we will certainly learn from this experience as we look to partner with other neighboring cities. Next slide, please.
Yep.
We'll go for it.
Go ahead.
I got it. Okay. So the mobile hygiene service, the unit, it contains 3 self-contained showers and toilets, and 1 is ADA compliant. It has 4 stackable washers and dryers, and it would be available Monday through Friday, 8 hours per day. As for project personnel on site, there'd be a driver and a client specialist. There'd be a laundry and hygiene facilitator, and then other off-site would be a supervisor and an intake specialist. The overall approach would be service-oriented. All equipment is provided. It would be insured with full protection, and it would abide by the day's schedule as directed. Next slide. The ask. The approximate cost of contracting with Haven of Hope on Wheels for a mobile shower and laundry unit for 1 year is $400,000. We envision partnering with other cities to both share the service and the cost. The more cities we partner with, the lower the cost for each city, and we believe 4 to 5 partners is ideal. In order to seek participation with others, the city of Seaside would need to commit to funding a portion of the mobile hygiene unit. Our ask of the Neighborhood Improvement Commission is $100,000. One last note, as our mission states, our goal is to collaborate and support. We believe this solution and this partnership will do just that. It doesn't eliminate or recreate what is already happening in our community, it augments it. And then I think you're next.
So just to quickly recap, our desire, as Ben mentioned, is to increase the dignity, the preparedness, and the hope of those who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. Our solution is the mobile unit, as you just saw in the video. Partnering with multiple cities on the peninsula and partnering with Haven of Hope on Wheels. And our ask is $100,000 commitment for 1 year. One final slide, just to talk about our next steps. Our next steps is to request time with other city homeless commissions, city councils, to make this same or a similar ask. Our goal is to begin this work this year if we can. We know that might not be possible. If not, we want to receive commitments from cities to support this effort in the next fiscal year. And feedback. As we prepare for our journey, we'd love to get your feedback on this presentation, on the slide deck, on what we said, what we didn't say, those kinds of things. And I'm going to skip our question slide for just a second. And I want to just bring back up the list of folks that we partnered with this last year. So we recognize $100,000 is a lot of money. So if it's not possible for the commission to consider that request, we would ask that you consider an alternative proposal, which is to grant us $17,000 to continue to support those organizations we supported last year with their food insecurity programs as well as holiday needs. So I'm going to go back to see if there's any questions. Oh, I got it right. So please, questions.
Sure. Are there, go ahead, any questions? Go ahead, Ray. Any questions from the dais?
Does detergent part of it and soap and shampoo and towels?
Yes, so detergent, soap, shampoo, and towels would all be included with it.
And then can you change the days? does it have to be Monday through Friday, or can you change it to Saturday and Sunday?
What would happen is when we contract with them, it'll be conditioned to what we need according with the other affiliated partners that come in with us, and we would commit a schedule that's conducive to everyone. What's going to happen is the facilitator of this project, they come in, hire from our community, but they facilitate everything, and that's why we could get away with paying the amount that they're requesting.
And then my last question, we're the first ones in this area that would, if we participated, or
So yes, this is originating from City of Seaside, so we would be the first to go on board with this, but we would need to partner with other members of the community. So you're the first commission we've spoken to, but as our work plan that we've been working on, we will be speaking with other councils and commissions about partnering to help with homeless solutions in the area in our community.
because what I'm concerned is we have to spend 100,000 within that fiscal year. And so if you're still looking for more
Yeah.
cities.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
that's okay.
I was just going to say, we consider this a pilot year, right? So if all we were able to get is $100,000, then I think we would go back to Haven and Hope on Wheels and say, this is what we've got. We need to make this fit with the dollars we have. And we'd consider it a pilot program. Our hope is that people watch it, they see it, they love it, and they're going to want to invest in it. But we don't know, right? We don't know. This is a journey, right?
Can I just make sure you guys understand this? We're talking about signing a contract with Haven of Hope for their services. So they're going to provide the truck, the driver, the insurance, the cleaning supplies, the towels, the on-site staff. That's all part of the contract with the company that's going to provide this service. So I just want to make sure you're understanding we're talking about, that's why we know it's $100,000. If we had 4 different communities, it's $400,000 for the year. If we get 4 different groups that all want to do this, cities, whatever it turns out to be, divide that by 4, that's $100,000. That covers the 1-year contract. Just to make sure you understand, we're talking about a contract with this company to provide a service. In case it wasn't clear.
So we're not owning, the city.
We own nothing.
the city
Not
doesn't
unless
own
you want to own, that's an option, but they gave us an option to be able to work this particular plan out since the 400,000 seemed to be a lot. And I'm trusting that you guys are intrigued by what you saw. And we've already proactively began our letter to go out and solicit the other community mayors and councils to buy into what we have. And we're very positive that we're going to come back with the goods that we need to make this happen, should you be willing to see to us.
That was my question, was which community, which other cities are you
We're-
going to reach out to?
We're looking at from Pacific Grove, Marina, with Sand City, Monterey, and Salinas.
Okay.
Mhm.
I have some questions, if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay, so while I applaud your idea, I do have a concern. So I read an article about homeless people or people parking their campers in San Mateo all along the drive. And the residents were tired of people just parking their mobile homes, not paying city taxes or property taxes or any of that, and just living there, camping out. And I'm concerned that as a resident of Seaside, that if we provide this service, which I am not saying it's a bad service, I think it's great. But I'm concerned that if we provide this service, that it will increase our population of nomads or homeless, because they'll then see this as a friendly place for homeless. And I mean, I understand there's a problem. I understand that there are homeless people that end up in that situation through whatever, bad situations happen. But there are also people that make choices to be homeless. They make that choice. They like being homeless. I actually have a friend who liked being homeless. She enjoyed the freedom of it. So that's what I'm concerned about, is that we might be creating this haven, this welcoming haven for homeless. And so I have that question for you. And then if you would answer, and then I have some other questions.
What I like to say is, yes, we're going to have the homeless issue and we can address it with the Haven of Hovind. What has been the increase in their community when it comes to that type of concern. But at the end of the day, regardless to how many are here, with us, we're finding by allowing them to be able to clean themselves, wash their clothes, it helps our community as well, because we're talking about an environment. You could say no to it, and maybe it's just 100 here right now. I'm just giving a scenario. It's just 100, but we have 100 people who don't have an opportunity to clean themselves and wash their clothes, and we're congregating together, which causes health issues to our environment as well. So it's kind of like a twofold thing where we kind of help each other, but we know the homeless we will have always, because the Bible even tells us that, and we will never really get rid of it. But the things that we do to know that we can help an individual or a family be able to clean their clothes and feel better about themselves, and maybe get a job because they're able to clean up and do what's necessary to get out of those. We will always have people to find the easy way out, because when I think about a homeless individual, I'm like, why are they like that? And the mindset that comes to me, it's easier for me not to pay a bill. Because it's a challenge to them, but everybody is not going to be that way. And I believe if we show our community of family offering this, if we could, hopefully it will not increase that. But when we come back for our presentation or whatever questions you may ask, we can find what was been the influx when they allowed this to go forth in their community.
I was gonna say, right, we could track data, right? I mean, I think that's a reasonable concern for sure.
Yes.
And I think that we would have to think about how do we track the information, right? And the thing that I love about this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's mobile, right? We would be, I mean, the vision we have is that this is coming to different cities every day. So it's sitting here in Seaside for a day, it goes to Monterey for a day. It actually meets people where they are, rather than having them have to go to a shelter or some other location. It comes to them almost, and it gives them that opportunity to be prepared, to feel clean, to be able to want to go out and look for a job or to seek for services. So I think it's both sides, and I think we can certainly do some investigation on the concern, but I think it's also, I think it also will help serve the need and actually show that, okay, well, maybe fewer people are homeless at the end of this because they are able to find jobs or find services or find housing.
Right. And I think that would be important, is that you do capture that information so that we can decide, or the cities can decide, if they want to continue it after the first year, if it is in fact approved. Because, that is important, because, people do have concerns about that. They want to see the homeless helped, but they also want to see the homeless helping themselves.
Sure.
So, because, anyway, the other question I have is, do you have any vision about where you would park this mobile truck, this mobile shower in Seaside?
That's another one of our projects that we're working on, because they've given us data on water, as well as the waste of the water, how to, remove it, as well as the storage of. That's one of the components is that we're researching, along with our letter for our partnerships.
But it would be in concert with the city, obviously, wherever it lands.
It would be nice if we just had a permanent shower somewhere that people could use, but then of course that would take city dollars to maintain.
Right.
And sometimes people may destroy, city property just for whatever reason. So, but that was all the questions I had. Thank you.
Can I comment on that?
Joan, go ahead.
I just went to sign up to swim at Oldemeyer, and they do have shower facilities there, and you can go just to shower. It costs $3.50. Maybe we could provide vouchers, or maybe make that a
Great
thing
idea.
too. Also at the Monterey Sports Center, they have a shower only price, and they're often homeless people in there showering. It's not ideal, but there is that too. So we do have some facilities for showering, not for the laundry and for the, all having everything there and having.
And then one of
Such
their
a nice
goals to
facility.
have that caseworker, that intake person, help these people get into services. And if you could imagine, if you smelled bad, would you really want to go anywhere and ask for services? Like you might, so you go, it just prohibits your ability to interact with other people depending on how you feel about it. And again, it's not just a shower and clean clothes, which is great, but there is also this ability, hopefully building a rapport, building trust, and helping these people get into a system. that if they want to help themselves, that they can get that help. And I agree with you. And there was a great, the paper from Salinas from their business community saying, you know, if you want to help yourselves, the city of Salinas is here for you. If you just want to camp out and party, we're not here for you. And I think we can all agree, if you just want to camp and party, I don't think that Seaside wants you to just camp and party here, but if you want to help yourself, I hopefully we're all in agreement that we'd like to help you help yourself.
And if I could add one more note to the vouchers and everything, when we look at the community of the unhoused, a lot of times they may not have the confidence to walk into a place with a voucher. And then when we have individuals that may not welcome us, we don't feel that comfortable with going. But in this particular area, you find that if we're able to solidify this, you'll have people of like minds or like mind issues that are coming together that we don't feel defamed and, you know, going and getting that done because we kind of like collaborate together in that area. So that kind of answers that a little bit, because I'm like, well, then we need to make a noise that we can go here, shower here. I even like your idea, because I wanted to put some showers outside of a building and maybe they could go, you know, have a shower and things like that. But it's always that pro and con when it comes to anything that we try to implement.
Well, have either of you guys been to Oroville or any of these other cities? And how has it, I mean, they said they started in 2019. So how
They've expanded from Oroville to Redwood City, Palo Alto, and one other city. So they have evolved and they just built another machine for whoever wants it next.
Well, how's it been working for them? I mean, I can hear you say expanding, but like for the city in Oroville that started in 2019, has there been an improvement in or a reduction in the homeless? Have they actually gotten jobs? You know, how has it been working for them? Has it really helped them to get past the homelessness and become
They're more
a
self-sufficient.
tax-paying citizen?
Right. So we can find out that information for you.
I would love to know that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Same
There's
here.
at least one case of that. They mentioned when they did the
Could you speak into the microphone, please?
when we had a presentation with the group, they did mention at least one person who that I remember clearly, a lady who, you know, found her way out of homelessness and into employment because it all just started with a shower and being able to wash her clothes.
And I'm sorry, just one more thing. And so if we just gave you 50,000 or 100,000, whatever the amount is, then how would you be able to spend that in this 1 year if you haven't talked to the other, you know, this is back to what Ray said. How would you be able to spend that in the 1 year if you haven't talked to the other cities? I mean, we have to spend this money in 2024, 2023 and 2024.
Not spend, just contract it out.
Oh, we have to contract it out. So you would have to get the other buy-in from the other cities in order to contract it out and spend it this year, right? Yeah, correct?
And I don't know if I'll be talking too quickly, but it could be with stipulation, because we have our letters ready. We just needed to see if you were intrigued enough to you know, to embrace what we're asking. And from that point on, if it appears to be a goal for us, because it's not necessary, we wouldn't go out if we don't know if our own council is not embracing it. But once we know that you are, the letter that we already have prepared, we're ready to get out there, set up a meeting to meet with those councils to get them to collaborate with us to find out their level of interest. And then if you want to give us an X date and maybe have somebody else as a B, if you're not giving it to us, then you can still spend your money, you know, that way. But we have to have something to go off of before we can actually go out there saying, hey, our council is in agreement with this, and we're here, you know, to see if you would collaborate with us to make this come into full fruition. And we have X amount of days to make that happen. And once they can make a commitment, we can come back, let the council know that we solidified that, and we can go forward. Else we have to.
Well, as I said, I do like the idea, but I do have those concerns.
Exactly.
I have a comment. So I just want some clarification. So PG, Marina, Sand City, Monterey, Salinas, and Seaside. And Seaside, if we sign on, you're gonna go to all these cities and ask if they'll sign on. So that bus would just travel, it wouldn't be in a permanent place, it would travel to Seaside at Hillby or the Oldemeyer Center, let's say. It's there for a day and then it goes on to Salinas is that how it works? So it's not a permanent
Correct.
They know, the homeless know that on Wednesday afternoon, there's gonna be a truck or, shower and bathe at that time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because I know that Monterey Peninsula College had their showers available to the homeless and for a long time, and they cut that off because they were abusing the showers, but so I think it's a great idea. I don't yeah, it's a good idea.
So I've got a couple of questions. So first of all, is this bus unit, would it be traveling from Oroville every day, or would it be situated here, and therefore this contract also by the housing of the staff member?
So I believe that the bus would be here or the mobile unit would be here for the contracted year, say in Monterey County, and it would just depend on which city it would be servicing the following day. That's where it would be that night, but it would be here for the whole year. Am I?
And one of our tasks is to find out who is willing to allow us to house the apparatus. And that's where, once its day is fulfilled, it's where it'll be stored.
Okay, and the staff member or staff members that will be operating the unit, will this contract also buy their housing for whatever amount of time?
They're local employees.
They'd hire them from local here.
Oh, they hire
train
locally, okay. I see
And that's
what you're
one of the
saying. Okay.
positive things we create employment.
Yep.
So basically, Hope of Haven, they don't care where the money, they're just looking for $100,000 contract. They don't care if it comes from Seaside or from, part of it from Seaside, part of it from other cities, I'm assuming.
It's a $400,000 contract for the year. So we have to find a way to cover $400,000 if we want to have this unit working 5 days a week in our area. Our thought was if we split it between 4 or 5 groups, for me, the math is easier to go with 4 groups, then it's 100,000 each. But days of the week wise, let's say we had 5 different cities. Mondays would be Seaside, Tuesdays would be another city that's been like $80,000 if it's divided by 5. Sorry, I can't divide 400,000 by 5. I'm just not capable of doing that kind of math under this kind of pressure without a calculator. But yeah, that's why you have a calculator. But the thought would be that, or of course, the city of Seaside could pay the $400,000 in total for the contract, and we would have the unit 5 days a week for an entire year, 2 full-time staff. And then, of course, there'd be the price for the storage of the unit, the truck, and then the cost of water, and then dumping the water, the water at the end of the day. You have to get fresh water and you have to empty the water. But I believe we think everything else, we have detailed information, everything else is covered in the contract, including the price, the cost of the staff.
Okay, so the $100,000 is not it's the price, is the price of the contract that you're asking the city, you're asking us,
Yeah.
they're asking for $400,000 for the whole area.
Correct. So 100,000 would be what we would be asking for City of Seaside to contribute towards this.
Okay. And have you already talked to the other cities?
N-
Buy-in from Seaside, we felt like before we went to other cities, we needed to say, hey, Seaside's willing to do this if we can get enough partners, versus saying, hey, you guys want to pitch in on this, and Seaside may or may not want to be involved. That just felt awkward.
Mm-hmm. Because I'll just say, I was hoping that the other cities were looking at Seaside to being a leader on this, but they don't know about it yet.
Not yet.
Well, we are going to be the leader.
Yeah.
We are the leader.
100,000 would make.
Yes.
Yep.
Also, so let me make this clear to myself. This project personnel, all these jobs, that's included in that cost, that 400
Yes.
grand?
we have a
Yes.
detailed
So
proposal. Is that
there's
correct?
no there's no, and because you said something about you'd hire local folks.
Haven of hopes that they would hire the driver and the other on-site person. They would do that from a local, they would look to Seaside locally. They would look in our area because that's a full-time job for a year.
Yeah.
They want somebody who's going to show up every day. But they also do, you need volunteers. You need some other people who are interested in help. That's where we would go to our list of our 10 groups we worked with locally. to say, look, we're bringing this, we need some additional people to come. Like one person can't handle everything. There's, I don't know, 3 bathroom, 3 showers, laundry, intake people, lines, but you'd need some volunteers. And you'd also have to have that buy-in from some organizations that they would want to be supportive and be a part of this process on a regular basis throughout the year.
So, we haven't had a discussion yet on any of the pitches that have come to us. Just because, we couldn't yet and because I hadn't heard them all. So basically right now it's 100,000 or nothing. Is that right? Because they're looking for 100,000. The other cities can't cover what they don't know about. So it's 100, it's 100,000 or nothing.
I don't think it's for nothing, right? So we provide the alternate proposal, right? So if you said, no, we can't do $100,000, we don't like the idea of the mobile shower units, we can do the $17,000. So that's one idea. But then if you said, hey, we can give you $75,000, again, I think you should think about it as a pilot. Whatever money we can gather and whatever time frame you say, you need to be able to say that you can spend this money by, I'm going to make up a date, January 15th. I'm making that up. Then we have a lot of work to do between now and January 15th to be able to ask other cities if they're willing to contribute. And then once we have a collection of funds, we can go back to Haven of Hope and say, okay, this is what we can spend this year right now. And let's do a pilot. Let's figure it out and see how it goes. We don't know how it's going to work. We hope that it's going to work well. I mean, you saw the video. People seem to love it. The clients love it. The community seems to love it. But, we'll have to, it's a pilot.
Thank you.
I would suggest that you find out if you can use bio soaps and things like that, so it'll go right down the drain.
Sure.
Because everybody's gonna bark about it going to the ocean without going through the sewer system. And the second thing is, I would really speak highly that Palo Alto's already bought into this.
Yeah.
Because that really perked me up. That's another city that one of us can call and ask them, hey, how's this project going? Rather than, because they'll tell us what's going on.
Exactly.
Are they getting people from San Mateo? I mean, they're getting this and they're just being overwhelmed. You could do that. But the soap thing, I know that could be an issue. Because you'll have to hook up to the sewer, or you can go down the drain if it's friendly.
The other, oh, go ahead.
You gonna do it?
Yeah.
He had offered, said that where their trailer parks, places where they release their disposal of their waters is one of the locations that they go to get rid of the wastewater. It's something that's already established, like trailer parks and things like that, where their water is already running through. We tap into that as an option.
That could be a tough sell for you at a trailer park around here. Because
I think they mean an RV park where they have a dumping station for RVs, and they do separate their black water from their gray water. But I don't know if that means some water doesn't have to go to a dumping station because it's gray water, not black water. But yes, the disposal of the water and the acquiring of water those are just not part of the contract.
Those are not part of the contract.
So those are additional costs.
Oh, so we would have to figure that out, or you would have to figure that out.
Yes.
And he also did say, do not let the water be our issue of not being able to do this. That was his last email to us. So whatever we need to do to figure out, he said, don't let your dream go by because of water, because we call, but I don't have my paperwork with me of the amount of water that's carried in that apparatus, how much we have to fill it up, knowing that cost as well as the disposal.
Do we have any questions from the public? Seeing none here, anything from the virtual land? Okay, no, seeing none, okay. Well, thank you very much. Very nice presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, as long as we're kind of on the topic, you know, I think in speaking with some of you individually, we talked about having, and we did talk about this earlier on about having a day put aside for special presentations. I know there are at least two groups, one commission and, or I'm sorry, FOSPA and the rural outreach program who would have liked to, and maybe they don't need to anymore because they talked a little earlier with their 3 minutes. But do you want to talk about having a special meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. What dates do we want to look at? September 12th? That is next Monday or Tuesday?
That is the same day as the fire safe. Do we want to make it earlier?
Okay. Sure. So make it earlier, like 5. Tuesdays, any time is fine for me. 6.
6. Starts at 6, right?
Yours starts at 6, right? Okay.
I have it down at 6 to 7. For the fire safe. So I could get off work early and be here as early as 4 if you needed me to.
Okay.
And then that would give us 2 hours.
Right. So.
Me too.
Okay, let's so Wednesday's good for everybody?
Yeah.
With the masks. Thanks. On the 13th, if we just have FOSPA doing their presentation, then maybe we should include, and it'll be at least a 2-hour meeting, maybe we should include Nick's ideas as well.
I totally
Instead
agree.
of having another special meeting, because I don't know if we want to wait until October, because that's when we're going to start finding which ideas we like and dislike, or say like them all, but only some can make it. So is that going to be enough time if we have our ideas as well as FOSS's presentation for next Wednesday for 2 hours? Yeah, it's just presenting.
I brought up in our little trail that if we make sure that the ones that we're gonna present, that we make sure that they go with the major planning before we even present, that we go, because then we don't have to discuss it, rehash it, you know, I mean, like sidewalks. I won't bring sidewalks up because that's not part of the major planning anymore, what the mayor said. So the ones that you're going to present, make sure it falls within what the mayor has requested.
I think that we should be able to present whatever, but it should be a consideration that we take into consideration when we're identifying which projects we're going to present to the city council, that they align with the plan. But I don't think we should stifle anybody's ideas, because those ideas could become part of the plan next year.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But you're gonna throw money with it, which gets lost in the. And what I'm saying is, we should really make sure that that can't be brought up against us on one of the ideas.
I just see that as being our process of it.
But that takes up time, you know, we're already at 2 hours, and if you bring up 5 projects and you bring up 3, I mean, it won't get all through. Just
Well, why
each one of us with our projects to say, yes, it will go with the plan and have it earmarked, you know, kind of. That's all I'm saying, do your homework a little bit.
Well, I mean, if everyone presents 2 items, let's say, we're not gonna, it's not necessarily going to be the winners. I mean, you know, if Joan brings up 2 ideas and we all vote down one of them, you know.
Just an idea. I just believe in coming to a meeting with all the T's crossed, and that's just one of them. He has said it has to fall into that. There was no maybe, well, we'll think about it. It's going to be part of the master plan.
Well, if it's part of the master plan, then if it is gonna be part of the master plan, then that means he wants the money and, or he, not, they want the money to do what they want to do with it.
No.
And they don't need our input
No, what
because,
they want is us to be part of the overall campus. And like I was pushing sidewalks, but they are not into sidewalks. What they want is trees. They want the rails. They want things that are, you know, like putting signs out. I don't think that's gonna fly. Because that has nothing to do. with-
Okay, well, I think this conversation is for our, when we decide to talk about what we want to bring up. I mean, right now, we just, because we got other things on the agenda, right now, we just want to talk about a time. And I've heard next Wednesday, right?
Sorry for talking too much.
Next Wednesday, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
go, Dominic.
I just would recommend if you would have staff send a poll so that we can make sure the facilities are available, because there is another commission meeting that's happening next Wednesday. And so that the exchange of meetings can occur in a timely manner, and so that staff can provide the proper support that you all might need for your meetings as well. So maybe if there's a time span that we can look at, and we can look at what's available as far as facilities are concerned, so that it lines up with your meeting, so that you don't end up having to have presentations done in a space that maybe can't support it.
yeah, we don't necessarily have to have them at this chamber. We can have them there at Oldmeyer Center, right? Correct? We don't have to have it here. Because that's what we used to do. We used to be over here, as you remember.
Yes, but those rooms are not equipped for the way that we hold our meetings now, which is hybrid. And this chamber provides the best quality of recording and such. But there are other options that we can make available.
Well, I would just say this, that if you want to hold the meeting anytime next week, for me, I will just take the time off from work and to be here. So if you wanted to if you wanted to do the meeting during work hours, you know, traditional 8 to 5 work hours, I'll just make the time. So don't worry about me. But I would like to attend the fire safe at Tuesday at 6. So that would be the only time that I wouldn't be able to make it for next week.
Is there Thursday next week open?
Off at the top of my head, I could say yes, maybe, but I'm not absolutely sure. We'd have to look at the calendar, because sometimes there's internal meetings that are not public meetings that might be occurring in the space.
So is it proper for us to ask for Wednesday or Thursday, and then Jackie can get back to us? Is that something we can do?
Yes, yes. And Maricela Ramos will be your clerk for your commission going forward.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. What was her name?
Maricela.
Marcella.
I was going to introduce her during reports from staff, but.
Okay, so then I've heard both next Wednesday and Thursday. What works better for everybody? And then we could look into it with
Wednesday
Jackie.
and
Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday, Thursday?
Wednesday and
Which one?
Thursday.
Wednesday or
and
Thursday?
Wednesday and Thursday?
Yeah. Either way.
Okay, so it's gonna be either one, but you're just find out. Okay, I see. Okay. So at what time? What time works best for everybody?
Early. Whatever time they need.
Can,
Yeah, whatever works.
can I ask just one quick, my understanding is Mr. Little is no longer with Seaside, so do we have a new facilitator liaison?
Yeah, so in reports with staff, so Manny Gonzalez, our assistant city manager, will serve as your commission liaison, and Maricela Ramos will serve as the commission clerk.
So he has no life, so he can come in any day, right? I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're putting both Wednesday and Thursday aside, and Maricela, you'll let us know which one it works at around the 5 o'clock period? Okay, great, thank you. And you have all of our contact information, I'm assuming? Okay, great, thank you.
Can we get Mr. Gonzalez's contact information? Can you send that to us? And thank you. And Miss Maricelas too.
Real quick, if they both work, if they're both open, which one works better for everybody? Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday,
All
make
right.
it unanimous.
Okay. Okay, good. So that means that next, we'll find out, but next Wednesday or Thursday, we'll have a special meeting. And so I'm hoping people are still watching, but I'll Google World Outreach Center program and try to get some contact information and let them know, Mr. Colbert know, and someone here has FOSPAs, I mean, we all have FOSPAs. So those are the only two I know. If you know anybody else, please let them know. It'll be one of those dates. Okay, let's move on. I think next is September House of the Month. Okay, and just have it. Oh, here they are. Okay. It was mine and kind of went out a couple of days ago and took about 5 pictures, I think. This was the terrace area between Noche Buena and Fremont, Broadway, and Hilby. This one, the fence looked good. I couldn't see behind the fence, real well, but the house looked good and the fence looked good, but,
The house does look very nice. It's got a very nice color and I like the flag.
yeah.
That's not legal.
Oh, right. Okay, so let's,
Yeah, I remember that from my time because I had.
yeah, that's right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
good.
me,
Well, that narrows it down.
I like this one right here on, what is that, Amadillo?
Amador.
Amador.
Right,
So
okay.
my number 1 choice is Amador. My number 2 choice is Harcourt.
That's,
It's chain link. Chain link.
it's against state policy. And what was number 2?
This one. Like,
1288 Harcourt.
yeah, that's pretty. Possibly. But we wouldn't want to.
Your grandfather did.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, I don't know if they were not. Yeah.
No one's complaining.
Okay, anybody else have anything they want to put forward?
I just like this one.
Yeah, I
like the tranquility of
I do too. I really, that one jumped out at me. Okay, anybody want to make a motion?
I motion that 1141 Amador be the September House of the Month. With 1288 Harcourt being number 2, the runner-up.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, the motion is for number 1 is 1141 Amador. And the follow-up, the runner-up is 1288 Harcourt. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. So that's what we have. The Amador one is 1141. And the runner-up is 1288 Harcourt.
When is the soonest, Marcel, that you can, or Dominique, that we can get on the council for that? So we'll know to come, or Dennis can come. October. It'll be on there. Okay. Did you hear that, Dennis? September 21 is gonna be on.
Okay, so item 5D is for our cleanup on September 30th. Updates regarding the upcoming citywide cleanup. Updates. What are the? I don't know them.
That Mouse was too close to Pachetti, so we
Yeah.
weren't gonna do that. That the other one was at the, by the, no, by the post office. We were switching to that location by the post office.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I have them all correct now.
Okay.
I sent them to Jackie,
Oh, you did? Okay.
but, the next step is to send those cross streets to Kelly. She's waiting for those.
Okay.
So
Kelly
could
at
you just,
Greenways.
could you just go over those? Cause last meeting, we had decided Highland Otis, LaSalle near Ord Terrace School, St. Lucas and Broadway, then Mal's Market, which you're saying we're not gonna do Mal's Market parking lot. And then we had Pachetti Dog Park, which is Noche Buena and Kimball.
Okay, so I'll have to look up the
So it's gonna be either Pachetti Dog Park or Mel's
Mel's
Market.
Market.
Oh, okay, this is either or.
And
Okay.
I'm
Actually,
sorry,
Mel's is probably a good.
I copied everyone in the
Or his
email,
fault.
but I guess you didn't see it. So
I did.
you know what? I'll send out the email to everyone again
Well,
to make sure that we have it
I
correct.
spoke with Dennis at Mel's and he's okay with
I think it's more visible.
it's
More
more just.
traffic.
And also, just so I can throw this out, Dennis said, why don't we put the flyers in the little local stores? Like his.
I agree.
Like the one up on the hill, like the one, these little stores where
Yeah.
everybody goes to. And we'll get a bit of turnout. He thinks.
Good idea.
Okay,
Okay,
so
I'm.
is there
confused.
anything-
You know, we've gone through lots of iterations, so this is what okay. Can I just get clarification on this? So Jackie has Mingo Avenue and Mendocino, that's Highland Oaks, San Lucas and Broadway. Noche Buena and Kimball is Pachetti.
so that's Pachetti.
LaSalle and Lincoln, Ord Terrace. And then she had also Mal's Market. I got back to her saying that at Ramona's reminder that instead of having both, but if I can change that and take out Pachetti Dog Park then and leave it at Mal's.
I think so. Does anyone?
Okay.
Objections to that?
And then the other one is San Lucas, oh no, San Lucas and Broadway is
Post office.
that's the post office. So then,
A block of post office, right?
yes, so then we have them all.
Cause it's terrace.
Okay, wait a second. Okay, wait a
Okay,
second.
there
I'm
you go.
confused. We have,
This is what you.
okay, so this Mingo at Minnesota, that's Highland Otis. San Lucas Street and Broadway is where the post office is. Then we have Noche Buena, which is Mal's Market. Then we have LaSalle and Lincoln. LaSalle and Lincoln, yeah. And then we have, oh, but what are we gonna do then? We have Mal's on there. So where are we gonna, if we don't have
So then I
Pachetti,
guess we don't have a fit, so keep
one-
it at Pachetti,
Yeah,
keep it at Pachetti?
I think it'll still fill up.
keep it like this. Yep.
Okay,
Okay, good. I will send those out to. That's it.
Okay, so for the public, here's what we have. Here's what I have. Highland Otis is one. San Lucas and San Lucas,
I'll just send this email out to everyone.
thank
then.
you.
Broadway San Lucas would be another one. Mal's Market parking lot would be a third one. LaSalle and Lincoln would be a fourth one, and then at Pachetti Dog Park
Yeah.
on the corner would be the fifth one.
Okay,
Okay,
fabulous.
okay. Okay, good. And then we already have where everybody is going to be stationed here, correct? We already talked about that?
No.
No? Okay. I'll take Pachetti. If everyone's okay with that.
I'll take Mouse.
I'll take Mingo and Highland Otis if it's okay with everybody.
Yeah, Tiffany.
And I'll go to the same place up on LaSalle, is that? Unless you want that one and I'll switch with you and do.
Whatever's left over, I'll
Taking
take.
Mouse.
Ray, what did you say?
Mouse.
Okay.
I'll take the
Noche
post office
Buena
one.
and Wanda.
You'll take which one?
Post office one, San Lucas, Broadway.
That
Okay.
one, yeah,
And who's got LaSalle and Lincoln?
I will.
John? Okay, okay, good.
And what are you taking out, Dennis?
I'm gonna have the Pachetti Dog Park.
Pachetti Dog Park, okay, Dennis, and then Ramona is at San Lucas and Broadway. Okay, thank you.
Mashana's got the coffee. Okay, good. So I don't think there's anything more in that item. All right, good. All right, report from commissioners. You want to start down here on this end, Ramona?
None.
Okay. Joe?
Just a brief report that I've been looking into the Neighborhood Watch program a lot, talked to Chief Burgess about it. And he's all in. He gave me a few talking points that I'll bring up next at our meeting next week. Also, Ray Bennett and he's gone. and Alex Miller gave me a lot of information, and it would be a great project for us. I just talking about homework, Ray, did a lot of homework about it, and I think that might be something we work on. Low budget item as well.
Absolutely. Good.
So I'll bring that up next time.
Tiffany?
No, I didn't have anything. Thank you.
Great.
I do. Last week, there was a death by mouse on Noche Buena. A gentleman at 49 years old was hit by another truck. And I wanted to reach out to the police department and to the fire department of how well they did. 2 policemen walked over to the family and stood there through the whole thing. Just stood there, letting them know that they were there. And it made a difference in the whole concept for the family, I think. And one police officer was rubbing her back. I mean, just trying to make things, because the body wasn't moving. They had to leave it there because of the investigation. And it was rough. I mean, I lived right there. It was a rough one to see. Family of 4 kids. I mean, it was terrible. So just, I wanted to reach out to the police and to the fire department. Fantastic job. They really did.
Thank you, Ray. We have a great first responders in the city. I would say best on the peninsula. And thank them for that. So I got one thing I want to bring up, and that is that both Joan and I were going to attend a CERT training in October, but I found out that it is filled up and we cannot attend. And part of the reason is because that is the City of Monterey / Carmel CERT department, and residents of other cities can only go when there is room left over. So this even brings up the more urgent issue of maybe having our own CERT team. Now I know that it has to have a staff overseer, but I want to talk to the city council about that. Part of the reason this brings it up again for me is because, as I mentioned, as you all know, that during the last month I was in Lahaina with the Red Cross as a shelter worker. And in the city of Lahaina, while the rest of the town was just completely burned down, there was a dispersal center where food, clothing, ice, drinks were given out, and that was being commanded by CERT, by the Lahaina CERT team. I hate to think that the city of Seaside would, fall under some sort of disaster, and we would have to rely on another city to provide people for dispersal of products that our citizens need. So I really would like to revisit that with the city manager and the chiefs of our first responders and the city council, see what we need to do to get our own CERT team going. On that issue, I want to think, really, after having been there for 3 weeks and seeing the destruction, I want to thank everybody who works on any level, whether it be a volunteer level or staff level for this city, because I never knew that a place could disappear that quickly. In the morning, it didn't look like it was going to happen. By evening, it was gone, and there were over 100 fatalities. So we're looking out for this city, and I want to thank you all for doing so. It just pounds it more into my heart now how important that is. So thank you, and let's just keep on doing it. Let's keep on providing for this city. Keep on doing well by it. Okay. Staff reports. Good. Well, thank you for being our new liaison. Looking forward to working with you. Did Dominique or Marcel, do you have any reports? Okay, good. Well, welcome aboard. You're going to be our you're going to be taking our notes and things in the future. Good. Well, thank you. Welcome aboard. No worries. No worries. Okay, good. Then thank you. I think and I think that is it. Does anybody want to move for adjournment?
I motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Any second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Adjourn or opposed? I don't think so.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night.